So we are continuing with our description. What did we discuss so far? Children, are you going to hear the stories today or they have a class?
Yeah, we have class.
Okay. Okay, so we are discussing about the Saptadweep. As we were talking about the different planetary positions, we got to understand the different area that were ruled by the 7 sons of Maharaj. Who? Maharaj Yudhishthir, Maharaj Priyavrata. Who is it? Maharaj Priyavrata. Don't be afraid, just say. So Maharaj Priyavrata. So we discussed so far up to Brahmya covers. We talked about Ilavrat, which is the Ishtadev of that area is Sankarsan. Bhadravarsha, Ishtadev is Hayasirasa. Harivarsha, the Ishtadev is Narsingadev. Ketumala, the Ishtadev is Kamadev. Ramyaka verse, the Ishtadev is who? Matsyadev. Then now is Hiranmaya verse, the Ishtadev is the Ishtadev, the worshipper are the Kumaras. And now we have a Ramyaka verse which is Vaivasat Manu, and the Ishtadev is Matsyadev, and Hiranmaya verse is the next one, the 6th one, and the Ishtadev is the Kurmadev, and the worshippers are Aryamas. So we are slowly touching into the Dasavataras. We generally understand the Dasavataras. What we understand, first comes Matsya, then comes Kurma, but we don't know the scenario of their appearance, how it happened, and where did that happen, what caused them to come. That we don't know much. So last week we spoke about Matsyadev. The purpose of Lord Matsyadev is what? To save the good people and the Vedas. That is the purpose of Matsyadev. Now Kurmadev in Hindi is called Kachchap. Why Kachchap? Why did this name Kachchap comes? If you walk into the ocean and if you are walking in the water, when you take a step in the water, okay, the sound that comes when you contact yourself by stepping in the water, how is the sound? Chap, chap, chap. Okay, that's what the impression is. So the form of the Lord is known as a Kachchap because he does chap chap in the water. So he took birth in the water. So purpose of his appearance. Once there was a problem. The problem was that, as I told you, the demons had a Sanjeevani mantra from Shukracharya. So anytime the demons were killed, Shukracharya would chant the mantras and bring them back to alive. But demigods had nothing. If they are killed in the battle, they are dead. Then the demigods were worried. They thought, well, demons became more powerful now. Yes? And the demigods knew the different part. Now logic behind being saved is that if one dies and the body is not burnt, that body can be brought back to life. So the demigods, when they were killing the demons from that time, they simply burned the body with their mystic power. So Sukracharya, by the time he came, there was no body to bring them to alive. So they were playing a smart role always. But this time the problem was, anytime the demigods died, there was no way to come. So therefore, so that is my daughter. Nowadays she knows how to call, so she started that. It's a Skype problem. We'll call back. So, the problem was that the demigods felt very unsecured and they went to Lord Vishnu. First of all, they went to Brahma. Then Brahma said, I don't have any solution to this. You are dying, and what I must do in order to save you, I don't have any idea. Why didn't you go to Lord Vishnu? Go to him. Ask him what you can do. Because this is a big problem. The demons are not being killed, the people who are supposed to be killed, and the demigods, good people, are killed. Then they went to Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu said, okay, let's do one thing. But are you guys ready for cooperation? There needs to be a cooperation. In order to accomplish something very big, you need to cooperate. I have an idea that within that milk ocean, where I would send you now, underneath the ocean, there is a nectar. Okay, Amrit. But in order to do that, you have to churn the ocean. Just like if you want to churn the yogurt, if you want to get a ghee, what do you need to churn? Yogurt. Buttermilk comes after yogurt. So what becomes the ghee, and anything that does not become a ghee becomes a buttermilk. Okay. But initial step is yogurt. So he said, now here is a question of churning. We need to churn. So for that you need a churner, which is known as the mathani. So in Hindi, do you know mathani? They call it a mathani. You need mathani, and in order to churn the mathani, you need a rope. I mean, at that time, electricity, maybe Krishna never wanted electricity there. So even in village these days, we know, every day morning, I know, my brother, the cows that we have in home, we have 3 cows, and each of the cows give 12 liters of milk at once. So they give 2 times a day, so 24 liters of milk in a daytime. So every morning I see my brother, early morning, 5 o'clock, it's a big container. So they have a lot of yogurt. And so he's just churning everything. So by the time he gets the ghee out, it is like this. It's a huge thing. So the churning has to be there. For that you need the churning pot, where you are going to put all the yogurt, and you need the churner, and you need the churning rope. So therefore, because this was a big ocean with big milk and big ghee also. So therefore the Lord gave idea, the pot can be the ocean itself. Okay? The pot can be the ocean. The churner can be the mountain. Okay? And the churning rope can be Basuki, the snake. You understand? And there are 2 sides to it. It is not a one-side churner, it is a 2-side. So in a smaller pot where you are churning, it can be one guy just pulling the both sides. But this is a huge mountain. So the Lord gave a little bit idea, and he expected the demigods to use some brain at least. Some brain. The mother can just cook the food and put the food together in one plate in a separate corner, or a wife can do that, but don't expect her to mix all the food together and make it ready for you to eat. Don't expect too much. I think sometimes we expect too much from Krishna. He gives us a human form of life with such a nice brain to think, and such a nice body to have a sadhu sangha and associate with the devotees, and we want कि भगवान ने सबको शुद्ध भक्त क्यों नहीं बनाया? Then we start questioning why God did not make everyone a pure devotee and self-control right from beginning, and we blame Him for all the wrong act we do. We don't take any initial step to do any devotional service, and that is a big problem. And that happens in our cases. If God could have made everyone a rich man right from beginning, why didn't He do it? We are always reminding God of His duties, and we all fail to remind ourselves of our duties. So there he said, okay, you can use the ocean as the pot. You use the mountain Mandarachal as the churner, okay, and you can use Basukhi, the serpent, as the rope, because Basukhi is been described as being long as 88,000 yojanas. That is, 1 yojana equals to 11 miles. Now calculate how long that snake is. And definitely it can wrap around the mountain quite a few times and still have some space to pull from the side. So the Lord said, okay, this is your idea. Now next brain you use. For that you need 2 people to churn. Then Indra said, Krishna, can you find another group for me? Because I don't have a good relationship with anyone. So better have a good relationship. When Krishna gives you some package to deal with, it's a package is that you can attain him right in this lifetime without doing anything other than what you are doing now. So that's a package he has given you. Now because you have not been good to any living entities, you have not been good to anybody, no one is ready to be a partner with you, then it's a big problem. You find your partners. So Krishna expected Indra to find a partner to work with. Then he said that it has to be a people that are equally powerful to you. It cannot be less powerful. So then Indra knew in a mind. Then he says, Krishna, you know who that can be? He said, you don't have that much brain to think who can that be? They say, Asuras. It can be the demons. They say, but I don't have a good relationship with them. He says, demigods means brain. That's what demigods meant, for use your brain now. Like Prabhupada used to say. We said, there are 2 living entities. The mouse and the snake. Yes? The snake is not good at digging, is it? The snake is not good at digging. The mouse is good at digging. So, if the snake needs to find a place to hide, then he has to not eat a mice for some time. He has to let him live for some time because he's going to dig a hole somewhere. Yeah, because he can't dig himself. But if he eats the mice right in the first place, then the snake has nowhere to live. So this is the logic that snake does not eat a mice right away. He allows the mice to dig a hole first. Okay? And the mouse goes inside the hole. Then snake has that access also. So he goes and eats the mouse and empties the hole out and what? Because some living entities are naturally laborers. Naturally they are labor. They have to work hard for anything. Okay? So therefore, Prabhupada gave an example here. He said the life of a devotee is like a snake. The life of a karmi is like a mouse. But karmis naturally want to work hard. Isn't it? So if they have no good work, sometimes you meet with the people who are taking a social security. They say, I don't want to depend too much in this social security. I want to work hard and earn my own money. Working hard is actually a logic for the people because they are in Rajagun. For us, as soon as we have a time, do you have an option to life? If there is no office hour, do you feel bored? Say if you have to not go to office, do you feel bored in home? Do you chant? When you have no work, do you feel like, oh, thank you Krishna for giving me some extra time, let me go and chant now? I was trying to expect the answer to come out this way. Yeah, yes, whenever there is a time, I just want to take an opportunity to sit down in front of my altar, then decorate the altar, decorate the deities, read some from Bhagavatam to the deities, and chant some rounds. Yes, I am always looking for that free time. But the people who have no goal of life, the goal of life is, as Srimad Bhagavatam says, Kono Van Vishijan Chikrain. Their goal of life is only to make money, nothing else. And when there is Friday and Saturday coming, or Saturday, Sunday coming, there is no chance of making money, you are bored now. You have no replacement. But for the devotee, Chanakya Pandit says, money is tadbharena namantichaha. It's a burden of responsibility. You understand what that burden means? Like some responsibility you need to carry because although it is a big burden, you don't want to do it. but because this has been offered to me as a responsibility that I need to accomplish. Yes? So therefore he calls this as a tadbharena namanti jaha. We bow down to certain types of responsibility, although it is burden to us. Although we want to chant the holy name of Krishna 24 hours a day, although we want to associate with the devotees, but I have this big burden on me. What is this burden? I have to look after my family. Or we do our activities, we accept a devotional service as joyful act. And going to job every day, we all work, it's not a joyful. It's a tadbharena namanti, it's a burden of responsibility. Yeah? So whenever you get time, don't feel I'm bored, then it will be a wrong answer. Just for the sake of giving an answer, maybe if that what you feel in the house means, you have to be more serious. Take that as an opportunity to do devotional service, not as, oh, no work, I'm bored. Maybe I should do part-time job. Not that way. So, Kurmavata. So he wanted the demigods to figure out and use the brain. He said you have to be very tactful when you want to get the work done. And at this time he just wanted the demigods to get the work done. He says, you figure out. So Indra went to Brihaspati and says, Gurudev, is it possible that we make friendship with the demigods? He said, Indra, if you can't do that, keep on dying. You have no option, what can I say? So he goes to Shukracharya and he says to Shukracharya, my dear Guru, you have a mantra to bring your disciple back to alive. What if something happens and you die? Who has the mantra? Nobody else. So maybe it is important that you also become immortal. So let's do this. Send your disciples with the intention of getting a nectar from the ocean that makes you immortal. So Shukracharya, he said, Indra, I have never known you thinking for the welfare of others. You have never done that in past. And he said, I don't believe you today. There must be some hidden motive. But Shukracharya said, but you have a logic. That means you have a logic. There must be something that you want from it, but there might be something that is good for me also. So let me think for a good of my case. Yes, what is good for me, I'll think that way. I'll send the entire demon armies along with the 2 people who are going to be your investigators. Every act that you do, if it is suspicious, they are going to come and report to me. Yes? So, Indra says, well, good. Send. Who are you going to send? He said, okay, other demons can go and help you to chant the milk ocean. Then, 2 demons, that is Rahu and Kalketu. They can go with you. They won't be churning ocean. They will be observing every step you take. He said, okay, no problem. Chalo. Then, the demons and the demigods gathered together. They brought what? What are the things they need to bring now for churning? Meru Parvat, Basuki and
turtle.
No, the turtle is not there yet. The turtle is not there. They need ocean. They figured out that one. They got the rope, Basuki. Then they got Mandrachal together. So they came and put the Mandrachal down in the mountain, in the middle of the ocean. The Parvat went down in the water. It went completely down. Because the ocean is very deep. It never stayed. So they were, what happened? Satyanas ho gaya. Then they went back. They go to the shore of the milk ocean. They go, Om Sahasra Shri Sahapurusha. Then Lord Vishnu said, what happened? Mountain down now. Please tell us something what to do. The mountain went down. Mountain down? Then they said, okay. Then you can actually go to Lord Brahma and ask him. Then Brahma said, no option. So then Lord Brahma along with the demigods went back and said, my dear Lord, you gave all this idea. We don't have a brain to think an expert now. We don't know how we are going to stable anything down. Then the Lord said, okay, then since you have all requested me, I can do one thing, you go. But he did not tell demigods that I'm going to come at Kachap. He did not tell them that. He said, you go down, I will do something to hold that. So the Supreme Lord, his expansion from Garbhadakshay Vishnu, he came out and he dived deep into the ocean. He went down to the ocean and he went and took the entire mountain in his back in the form of a turtle. Now why turtle? Now if you analyze this, two things that we learn. For us, what occupation we have does matter to our life's career, isn't it? You go to India for marriage, Shadi ke samay. So you go at the house of the girl. Does education and your on career becomes an issue there? Ladka kya karta hai? So our entire life is based on what we do. If we have a very high career, if we have a very high birth, if we have a very high status, then we have some position somewhere, isn't it? This is our position. But in the case of Krishna, either he is a pig, or he is a turtle, or he is a fish. Does it has anything to do with his glories? Yes? And he takes the appropriate form according to what is a need. Now, who has the stable back in the ocean? The turtle. Yes? And which is the slow moving fish or the turtle? Who moves slow? So you need somebody very stable in order to take a mountain. And the Lord immediately thought, okay, Kurma would be the best form to take. Then immediately went to the water. So the Lord is there because you see, Lakshmi is always massaging his feet, but he never gets anyone to massage his back. Yes? So Lakshmi is always, Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Brahmasya Manam. So many servants, everyone is looking to follow the lotus feet of the Lord. Hey Bhagwan, aapke path charan mein le lo. No one says, Bhagwan, aapke piche mein le lo. No one says that in a prayer. Everyone wants the feet of the Lord. Yes? So, Krishna is called the Raso Vaisaha. He is the source of every pleasure. He knows how to draw the pleasure from somewhere what others can't. Sometimes people do that. They lie down in the stomach and say, can you give me the massage? That is coming out slowly. But the Lord has this desire. So every act of his pastime is pleasure deriving for him. Like if we carry something at our back, do we derive a pleasure from it? Big burden is for us. But the Supreme Lord, he comes down. So the demigods and demons, they are struggling very hard. Just pulling the rope, they are churning the milk ocean. The Lord is just going, Kachap, Kachap. So, the name Kachap comes from the word chap, 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 chap. So, he is having a nice pleasure with a nice back massage. I don't know what you call the Chinese acupuncture or something, So nice with a big mountain at the back. It's not a small mountain. The rope itself is 88,000 yojanas. Yes? Then the Parvat that we are talking about, the 88,000 yojanas is underneath the ground and 88,000 yojanas is above the ground also. So the Lord is carrying this big mountain. Yes? Sometimes we have problem carrying 2 gallons of milk. So that is his supremacy. Whatever difficult act the Lord performs, everything becomes the source of pleasure. So he's just very nicely. So demons and demigods are having very many issues in between. They are having a big problem. So anyway, you all know the story in a length, and this story will again come later on. So I will tell you a story that is needed right now. So what happens is ultimately they are able to churn the ocean and so many things come out. The horses comes out. The horse is taken by Lord Indra. So they begin to divide everything up. Just like that. Now whatever comes is mine, the demigods. And next one whatever comes is yours, the demons. So it was the will of the Lord. So anytime it is the time of the demigods, the good things are coming out. So whenever it is the second time, the time for the demons, the bad things are coming out. Because he knew, the Lord knows that demons don't know how to use anything good. For them, Chanamrit is no good. For them, beer bottle is better. So the Lord is making that arrangement what is good for each of them. So at one point, as the poison came, you all know that Lord Shiva was requested to come and take that poison. Yes? And by taking that name, that poison, he becomes Nilkantha, which the story will again come later on. So I don't want to emphasize twice on that. Then after the poison comes a nectar. So immediately after the nectar came, everyone was very much excited. They said, came, and came. Then what happened? The demigods were too peaceful. The demons just snatched and ran away. They snatched and ran away. And they were going to Shukracharya. Immediately the Lord thought of the weak point. What is the weak point for the sense gratifiers? Money and woman. So the Lord said, okay, I know how to get there. So they had the nectar in the pot. Kumbha was there in their hand. Then the Lord Vishnu took the form of Mohini Murti right there. So those people who are attracted by too much beauty of a woman, they are right here. It's a way the Lord will attract them. So he came as a Mohini Murti. They said, you guys, you have such a nice nectar, but you need a suitable person to distribute. Then they said, but you look so beautiful, why didn't you distribute that? Yes? And nectar itself is nice, and when the nectar is distributed by the beautiful woman, what better can be there? So that's the logic the demons followed. Then the demons said, okay, you can hold our glasses. Yes? The demons are saying, you hold the glass, we hold the nectar. They are trying to be tricky about it. But now the point was, everyone became bewildered by this woman. Now, according to the Shastras, as we have already talked about, compared to the woman of Vaikuntha, how does the woman of earth look like? Or women of Swargalok, the women here look like the frogs, the Shastras say. And compared to the woman in Vaikuntha, the Swargavasis looked like a frog. No Sarup. So now here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Who can be more beautiful than him in a form of a woman? Everything was complete about him. So it is natural. If people can be attracted from here, you think they won't be attracted by Vaikuntha? It's a natural. So they are very much attracted. But she said, why you waste your time? He said, you sit down, you beautifully look at me when I am pouring the nectar in your hand. Like, you just drink like this. One side you are drinking a nectar, other side you are drinking my beauty. He said, no problem, sit down. Then she said, but you know what? A woman means I have little bit heart here. My heart is that these guys, demigods, they also work very hard, you know that? They work very hard. They should get something. Then the demon said, whatever you say, aap jo bhi bole sab theek hai. So in the presence of a beautiful woman, every logic failed. Every logic will fail there. So that's what happened, all the logic fell. And these two demons were supposed to report to Shukracharya when they sat down there. They were supposed to tell Shukracharya that they are playing a big smart role here. Or after getting a nectar, they were supposed to let him know that we have the nectar, what do we do, Guru Maharaj? But the Shastra said the next topic, our next avatar we are talking about, will emphasize this point more. So they forget everything. Then she said, you know what, when there are a big group of people, there is a tendency that we serve, like, when you serve the prasadam, in beginning you are serving so little, at the time, at last there is so much prasadam left over. She said, that's what happens. Who wants to be last here? Because the last guys are going to get a lot. So who is foolish here? The demons. Then they said, look, give to demigods first then. So they all sat down in line. But when this lady was playing a smart role, these two demons thought maybe something fishy is going on there. Let's do this. The distribution has begun. We will go and sit down next to the sun and moon. Okay, we need 2 times. We know how to assume the forms. We will look like a demigods. And who knows, it's a 33 crore devatas there. I thought turned it off last time. I don't know how it became on. So They are distributing the nectar. Then the demons thought, we'll drink twice, we know how to assume the form, we'll look like a demigods. There are 33 crores, millions of demigods. So if 2 people get added onto it, who knows? Who will find out? Nobody. So they went there, but Surya and Chandra, they are very tricky. They are looking every big people that were behind. They should have gone and sat down next to other demigods who were not so much attentive. These demigods were not too much attracted by this beauty, because they knew this is Lord Vishnu himself. They were just, they knew